Selling season is nearly upon us. Selling season being the middle part of September all the way through to the first week of December. Now in these 3 months, the majority of business is done from anywhere else in the year. You see, people come back from their summer vacation and the summer slowdown, and they all of a sudden are focused on making some serious money in the lead up to Christmas, which is why these 3 months are the months where you have a phenomenal opportunity to set up your whole year ahead. Now the challenge is, how do we do something different that creates a ton of business that comes towards us where we haven't done that all through the year up until this point? Well, the bottom line is you're going to have to look at a new business model, and that business model is focused around income generation. Specifically, how do we get more customers, and what customers do we need in our business to make this our best year ever? You see, the good news is that you still have time to make this your best year ever. The fact that you've burnt the first half of the year and you've done what you've done doesn't mean that the back half of the year can't be absolutely a phenomenal success. All you've got to do in order to make it a phenomenal success is start to look at your business with fresh eyes. Start to see it as an income generating machine and not the business. That's my business. You know, I get up and I go from Monday to Wednesday to Thursday. What we really need to do is start looking at that business as a separate entity to us and separate from doing all the stuff that we get locked into on a day-to-day basis. You see, the challenge for most people is that all of their time is spent on doing stuff, and stuff doesn't always generate income unless that is you're spending a sizable amount of time on lead generation and conversion into business. Now, sales is a funky sort of a subject in so much as you do not have a business until you've made a sale. And yet so many people in business have an aversion to sales. And the only reason they have an aversion to sales and really don't like the sales subject is they're not making any. So if you want to turn that around and really get on a path to making some serious sales, you're going to have to kind of look at that particular subject and learn as much as you possibly can about helping people to buy from you. So let's dive straight in and talk about how do we do that. Well, the first thing that we've got to start with is your business model. How many customers do you need in order to make this your best year ever? So I'm going to float some numbers out there, and then if you can convert these into your personal numbers, that's how you're going to make the difference in looking at your business with fresh eyes over this next 3 months. I'd like you to do this. Put on a piece of paper 3 lines, or 3 sections should I say, divided by 2 lines. Customer A, customer B and customer C. You see, fairly typically most of your customers tend to buy service A, and typically service A averages about so much in revenue generation. So I'm going to use an accountant as an example for this particular exercise. Most of an accountant's business is in end of year accounts, for which let's say they charge an average of £1,000. Type B customer is where they do an element of bookkeeping on a monthly basis, and therefore they may charge something like £150, £250 a month to do the bookkeeping and the end of year accounts, which will very roughly add up to about £3,000 as a sale. So of course customer A is an average of £1,000 sale, and customer B is an average of a £3,000 sale. Customer C is kind of those ad hoc customers that come to you to get a specific task done, and that task could be £500, it could be £2,500, but that's your ad hoc list. So of course what we want to look at is we've got type A customers are 1,000, type B customers are 3,000, and type C, well, we never quite know. So of course, as we're going into the back half of the year, if you look at how much business you've written to date and how much business you want to write by December 31, you know what the gap is, how far you are adrift on what it is that you want to make this year. So, okay, let's just say, for example, you need to write an additional £50,000 worth of business over this next 90, 110 days. Well, how are we going to divide that? How do we know who we want to go out and have a chat with? Well, of course, if it's type A customers and I want £50,000, I need 50 customers. If it's type B customers, well then obviously I need about 18, 19 of those. So of course that is going to dictate what my marketing strategy is and who it is that I want to talk to, because I probably would want a mix of both of those type of characters. The type Cs, they're going to kind of come to us as a result of putting marketing messages out there to attract our type A and our type B type of customers. Do you see where I'm coming from? So, okay, now that we know who type A and who type B customers are, we can start to put a plan together to put a message out specifically for those types of customers. Now, let's just make this a touch easier. If you look at your typical type A customer, who are they? Do they tend to come from a particular sector? Do they tend to come from a particular age group? Do they come from a particular vein? Is it networking that you tend to get them from, or is it referrals? If it's networking, we know that we've got to clean our language up when we go to networking events to specifically ask for that type A customer. If we're getting it via referrals, well then we need to look at our referral strategy and start to say, who typically gives us referrals? Okay, I need to put a plan together, strategy, to go and talk to the kinds of characters that refer that type A type of customer. Does that make sense? Great. You see, when you break it down, when you know what it is that you want, all of a sudden the path to making that a reality comes firing into vivid focus. So that, my friends, is just a very short, sharp, sweet focus for how you can convert more people into your customers by having better quality conversations, because you're marketing specifically to your ideal type A and type B customer. So the last little thing I want to add to that is, if you look 50 of these customers versus 18 or 20 of these customers, we want to mix. I'm probably going to lean towards my type B customers, because they're going to give me a residual income over the coming 12 months, not just the next 90 days. So that's it. Just a very quick one from me, John F. Ketley. If you want to find out a little bit more about what we do, have a little look at johnfketley.com. And lastly, if you really want to dive deep, you've got 2 to 3 weeks before selling season starts. Why not join me on the Sales Masters Guild course on how to win more businesses, and you'll see the link below. Talk to you soon.